It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavela, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. The President says that the goal is to advance in strong partnership with India to achieve Sri Lanka's development objectives. President inaugurates new district secretariat in Tiremadu. A program will be implemented to transport agro products through train. Research from the Peradeniya University reveals that by the year 2050, around one-fourth of the population of the country will be elderly people. Deadline for NIC applications extended. Today is the second day of the Dharma Rashmi Posun Zone. A special train service has been deployed until tomorrow for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Mihintale. And in world news, ICRC says 22 killed in strike near its Gaza office. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed his commitment to maintaining a strong partnership with India to achieve Sri Lanka's development goals. Emphasizing the urgency to expedite joint initiatives, President Wickremesinghe highlighted a comprehensive agenda aimed at transformative bilateral projects. The President highlighted the importance of enhancing cooperation between the two nations, particularly in the energy sector, aiming to foster new development for the northern region, which has been deeply affected by 3 decades of conflict. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made these remarks while delivering a compelling vision for the future of Sri Lanka-India relations during his address at the 31st All India Partners Meet 2024 held at ICT Ratnadeepa in Colombo. The IPM 2024, which was organized by KPGM Sri Lanka and India, provided a platform for both countries to reaffirm their commitment to collaborative projects that promise to redefine bilateral relations and propel socio-economic growth. The 31st All India Partners Meet in Colombo, Sri Lanka from June 20th to 22nd, 2024 was collaboratively organized by KPMG in India and KPMG Sri Lanka. The annual meeting of the India firm is one of the largest events hosted in Colombo, with over 600 India partners and their families attending. It celebrated achievements from the past year and discussed future plans. A token of appreciation was extended to President Ranil Wickremesinghe by the Chief Executive Officer of KPMG in India, SD Nagarpulwala, and the Managing Partner KPMG Sri Lanka. The President's Media Division said President Ranil Wickremesinghe has inaugurated the new District Secretariat in Tiremadu, Batticaloa this morning. The new District Secretariat building was built at a cost of 1,055 million rupees. Railway General Manager N.J. Indipolges says that a program will be implemented to transport agro products through train. A pilot project will be implemented in coastal railway line. Accordingly, agricultural products will be transported from Beliata to Colombo. It has been identified that the transport cost can be reduced significantly through this measure. The quality loss can also be reduced. He said a logistic train would be utilized to transport agricultural products, focusing on the time and cost of distributing vegetables, fruits and fertilizers island-wide. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news. A research from the Peradeniya University reveals that by the year 2050, around one-fourth of the population of the country will be elderly people. Professor of the Economic and Statistics Unit of Peradeniya University, Vasantatu Korala, says that the number of people who are older than 65 years of age in the country at present is 18%. According to the data in 1971, the percentage was 6.3. The professor pointed out that the elderly population of the country will be 27.6% by the year 2050. The deadline for obtaining national identity cards for those individuals who were over 40 years have been extended till June 30th, stated the Department for Registration of Persons. Those who were unable to obtain national identity cards due to issues with their birth certificates can obtain NIC till June 30th. The Dharma Rashmi Homagama Poson Zone, annually held to coincide with the Poson Poya, will be held till tomorrow. Today is the second day of the Poson Zone. Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone was inaugurated under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the invitation of Minister Bandula Gunawardena on Poson Poya Day yesterday. This time, the Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone spans 13 kilometers covering Diyagama, Pitipana, Dampe, Meegoda, Godagama, Panagoda and Homagama. Lake House is the print and digital media sponsor. The electronic media sponsors are SLRC, ITN and SLBC. Cash prizes to the value of 4 million rupees will be given to the winners of the Poson Lantern competition. The Poson Zone is conducted under the instructions of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. The Homagama Sasanakrashka Bala Mandalaya, the Presidential Secretariat, the Transport and Highways Ministry, the Western Provincial Council, the Homagama Divisional Secretariat, Homagama Pradeshya Sabha, the Homagama Zonal Education Office, the Army and the Police are jointly organizing the Poson Zone. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Cabinet spokesman and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that a special train service has been deployed until tomorrow for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Mihintale. He was speaking at the weekly Cabinet media briefing held Thursday at the Government Information Department. He said that the hopes to provide the same service if the sponsors come forward on the other days as well. In addition, the minister said that a special bus service has been deployed from Anuradhapura to Sri Mahabodhi, and more than 400 buses have been deployed to travel to Anuradhapura and Mihintale. The newly built railway line from Anuradhapura to Mihintale is about 2 kilometers long, which was started during the late President Premadasa's era, completely abandoned, and measures have been made to completely renovate and start up to Mihintale, and the train service from Anuradhapura to Mihintale was started. That was the main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. The Narcotics Control Unit of Sri Lanka Customs has apprehended an officer of the Airport Security Division while attempting to smuggle 18 gold biscuits worth around 48 million rupees out of the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka. The arrested airport security officer is a 40-year-old resident of Hakmana Matra who has been in service for around 15 years. That came to in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Taking a look at the headlines of the world news. ICRC says 22 killed in strike near its Gaza office. The Indian film star arrested in fans' murder case. UK's richest family convicted of exploiting servants. Now the world news in detail. The International Committee of Red Cross says its offices in Gaza have been damaged by shelling, which killed 22 people who had sought shelter around its compound. The ICRC says that heavy-caliber projectiles landed within the meters of the office and residence of the International Committee of the Red Cross on Friday afternoon. It added that all parties had an obligation to take precautions to avoid harm to civilians and humanitarian facilities. An Israel Defense Forces spokesman told the AFP news agency that initial inquiries suggested there was no indication that the IDF had carried out a strike in the area, but added that the incident was under review. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza gave different figures, saying 25 people had been killed and 50 injured in the shelling, which it blamed on Israel. Darshan Dokadipa, a superstar of the Kannada language film industry in the southern Indian state of Karnataka, has been under arrest for the past 10 days in connection with a crime that resembles the plot of a movie. He is among 17 people picked up by the police for the murder of Renukaswamy, a 33-year-old fan of the actor, after his body was recovered from a drain. Earlier this week, Bengaluru City Police Commissioner B. Dayananda said Renukaswamy was killed in a very brutal and barbaric way, and it has been revealed that he has allegedly sent lewd messages on social media to Pavitra Gowda, an actress who has been described in the Indian press as Darshan's girlfriend. She is among those arrested. 4 members of the UK's richest family have received prison sentences for exploiting staff brought over from India to work at their Geneva villa. Prakash and Kamal Hinduja, as well as their son Ajay and his wife Namrata, were found guilty of exploitation and illegal employment by a Swiss court and handed sentences ranging from 4 to 4.5 years. They were acquitted on more serious charge of human trafficking. Lawyers representing the defendants said they intend to appeal the ruling. 3 workers who were brought over from their native India alleged the family paid them as little as $8 to work 18 hours a day. That ends World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. ICRC says 22 killed in a strike near its Gaza office. The Indian film star arrested in fan's murder case. UK's richest family convicted of exploiting servants. That ends World News.
Development News.
A batch of 23 senior Sri Lankan police officers are currently in New Delhi on a specially designed 2-week training course that started on June 18th, the Indian High Commissioner in Colombo said on Friday. The mission said in a press release that India regularly offers fully funded training slots to Sri Lankan police personnel for various training courses to enhance the skills of the officers. Since the beginning of 2024, over 60 police personnel, including junior, mid-level and senior officers, have benefited from the high-quality training courses on various subjects such as crime, scene management, artificial intelligence and cybercrime investigation, and VIP security training, the release added. That came to you in Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
2 late goals gave Austria a hard-fought win that boosted their hopes of reaching the last 16 at Euro 2024, but Poland became the first nation to be knocked out. This result, followed by France's draw with the Netherlands later on Friday, meant Poland will finish bottom of Group D, even if they were the winners of their final game. After Austria and Poland had lost their opening matches, they both came to Berlin, knowing that another defeat could spell the end of their tournament. The high stakes gave the encounter the feel of the knockout tie, with both sets of fans creating a noisy atmosphere. That came to you in Sports News.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyamata set wenna aswahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Itru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized Sri Lanka's commitment to advancing ecotourism through the conservation of wetlands. He underscored the futility of waiting for external funding to combat climate change and environmental challenges, urging tropical countries to explore self-sustaining financial models tied to environmental projects. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the inaugural WLI Asia Oceania Conference 2024 at the Water's Edge Hotel, Battaramulla yesterday, President Wickremesinghe highlighted Sri Lanka's proactive stance. That was business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekata menna.
The all-new NSB Itru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news. The online shopping platform for locally produced goods, CeylonPlaza.com, was launched by President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the opening of the International Industry Expo 2024 at BMICH on Thursday. The exhibition, organized by the Industry Development Board under the guidance of Ministry of Industries and Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Patrana, was held until June 23rd. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces, and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Heavy showers about 100 millimeters are likely at some places in western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara and Puttalam districts. Several spells of light showers will occur in Matale and Anuradhapura districts. Strong winds of about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills, northern, north-central and northwestern provinces, and in Trincomalee, Hambantota and Munaragala districts. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The President says that the goal is to advance in strong partnership with India to achieve Sri Lanka's development objectives. President inaugurates new district secretariat in Tiremadu. A program will be implemented to transport agro-products through train. A research from the Peradeniya University reveals that by the year 2050, around 1/4 of the population of the country will be elderly people. Deadline for NIC applications extended. Today is the second day of the Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone. A special train service has been deployed until tomorrow for pilgrims to travel free from Anuradhapura to Mihintale. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friend, and certainly yours is all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music. Over to you, Vibhuda.